On September 25th, we've got a new moon in Libra. And for a new moon, this one is pretty dynamic. It's got a lot of layers. But first, the stats. So this new moon is happening at 2 degrees Libra in 48 minutes. And this is happening at 5:54 p.m. in the Eastern time zone. So yeah, a new moon in Libra. This is a new beginning for you in the Libra sector of your birth chart. So look and see where you have Libra. This new moon is re-energizing something for you in that particular area of life. Overall, with Libra new moons, we're going to see an emphasis on relationships. We're going to see an emphasis on keeping the peace. We're going to see an emphasis on harmony, balance, equality, fairness, justice. We're going to see themes on beautification. So yeah, some other things that we're going to look for that make this new moon pretty stand out is this new moon opposes Jupiter in Aries. Why is this important? Well, Jupiter in Aries is a signature that we're going to be working with for about a year total. It's been here. We've been with Jupiter in Aries since May, and we're going to see it go into Pisces at the end of next month, but we're going to see it again next spring. So Jupiter in Aries is bringing us themes of, like not being afraid to express your truth. Jupiter in Aries is our beliefs, it's our individuality, it's our sovereignty. So I've been talking a lot about this aspect on my channel and about how this is about not being being more fearless to take a stance on what you believe, being a little bit more courageous about speaking your mind and putting your beliefs and opinions and your truth out there. This has created a bigger divide, of course, at least where I live in the United States, where people have become more opinionated, especially on big hot button issues such as guns and abortion. So that's what's been coming up on the world stage with Jupiter and Aries so far. In our personal lives, it's about taking risks. It's about a freshness of life. It's about finding new adventures. And I think that Jupiter and Aries came in perfect timing after a period where many of us were cloistered at home. So Jupiter and Aries is inviting us to find the new adventure in our lives. But Aries is a sign about individual sovereignty, and Libra is a sign about collaboration and cooperation with other people. So we're seeing this Libra Aries polarity really highlighted for us this season, as Mercury in Libra is going to oppose that Jupiter 3 times. And yes, we're going to see an Aries full moon in October. So we're really working this polarity here, really drawing an emphasis toward our own balance of how we balance our own desires and personalities and goals and things that we want to do in our life with the other person, and balancing with the other person and meeting them halfway. And so, Libra season might be inviting us to reach a little bit further toward the other person, or it might be, hey, I need to do me for a little bit. Something a family member once told us, this is a piece of wisdom we always share in our family, is that relationships are never 50-50. They're always, in the words of this relative, 90-10, but it can switch. So sometimes I might be giving a lot to you, and then it's going to switch and you're going to be doing a lot for me. So it's almost never 50-50, which I love, because thinking about the Libra scales, they're almost never balanced. Libra just tries to balance them out. So we're trying to bring more balance into our lives. So whether we're doing too much for other people, we need to take some time for us, or vice versa, this new moon might highlight that for us. Maybe we need to be a little bit more brazen and fearless in order to bring a sense of peace and balance into our lives. Sometimes keeping the peace is staying quiet, but after a while you become irritated on the inside. So you have to bring that spark outward. You have to speak your mind and speak your voice about what it is that you want and where you're dissatisfied. So this new moon, even though it's a new moon, we don't typically think about polarities with new moons. This one does. This one really, really does. This new moon is ruled by Venus. Venus being beauty, could be financial. Maybe there's a financial theme going on here, especially if it's in your second house or your eighth house. But Venus is in this opposition to Neptune. So I'm just going to talk about Venus and Neptune in this video. The exact opposition was yesterday, the 24th of September. But Venus opposite Neptune is a very big deal. Venus in Virgo craves a certain level of perfection. And Neptune is sort of the level of perfection that is in fairy tales. It's idealistic. It's what an artist could imagine, right? So we have to be careful with idealism around this new moon and around this time. That our picturesque idea of what could be possible doesn't get in the way with what is. Sometimes our concept of what could be overshadows the excellence of what already is. I think the opposite of Virgo, Pisces is going with the flow, trusting the process. And Virgo is the sign that toils and works hard to bring about perfection. Sometimes we have to just trust that what we have is good. Other times we need that critical eye to discern how we could raise the bar, how things could be better. And that is an important skill to have. Virgo is a sign that wants to work toward helping someone else, making life easier for someone else. Virgo is the sharpening of one's skill set in order to contribute on an even higher level in whatever area they're applying themselves. But because we're talking about Libra, because we're talking about relationships, because we're talking about beauty, and maybe this has a lot to do with art or music or something that you're creating, be careful with this new moon that your idea of what could be possible doesn't make you too dissatisfied with what is, especially if what you have is already awesome. Let it serve as artistic inspiration for how you could lean into moving toward or using that as like a goal of some kind, but not sort of measuring your level of success by it. Ideals are meant to be inspirational. They're not meant to be something that everyone could create a carbon copy of. So that's a little bit about Venus's opposition to Neptune. And yeah, it's a very devotional energy. It really is. It's a very transcendent energy too. It's a romantic, blissful, check out from reality for a night. I find that Venus and Neptune aspects are wonderful for staying up a little bit too late, listening, getting lost in the music, sipping some wine, letting the night sort of take over. It's really great for letting your guard down, okay? So as long as you are in good company, in trusting conditions, let it fly, let it fly. Could be a really good time. But we do want to watch that we're not seeing what we want to see and overlooking too many red flags, especially if you're, out at the club or something like that. So be safe and have fun with this aspect. And I hope it brings you levity, magic, and abundance. And I will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also find me at catherineurban.com, where you can book your one-on-one consultation and get insights for your chart for the year ahead.